enjoying some time in the garage. Got the tool dog with me, supervising the action. He's been a very good dog lately. Just a few mischief items, but decided to break out my car, cleaning, polishing, waxing stuff. At one point in my life, I had a nicer car that I actually bought products for to wax and shine. And since I got the old Toyotas, I figured it's just something in my past I didn't need to do. But for whatever reason, I decided that getting this buffer out and trying to correct the paint on my old Toyota would be a good idea. It's pretty meditating. It's like polishing a turd. Pretty happy with the result. These are the products I used. No, that I did not use. I should have used the Sinos as a first step, but I just went straight to the Klaus wax through a video of the tool dog in action here. It's pretty impressive. There's a little intermission. I've always wanted this product to hold bolts when I'm working on my car. Purchased on Amazon. Pretty pricey, this bolster thing, but I really wanted it. This one was super cheap. It's kind of like a hybrid between the bolster and the Harbor Freight tray that I really like, which is also kind of pricey. So very excited with the price of this orange one on Amazon. Looks like it's the best of both worlds. It's a tray and a bolt holder of different sizes, but definitely a little stiffer. Not that that's a bad thing. I did tell myself that I was only going to buy Knipex pliers going forward, but apparently that's not the case. Harbor Freight had a parking lot sale with a discount on pliers. I walked in there and ended up buying a few pliers that I absolutely did not use. But first, here's this Hercules polisher I found on sale at Harbor Freight. I had so much fun polishing my car with the Harbor Freight Drill Master plug-in polisher that I brought a battery-operated mini one for the little spots that were tough to hit with the big one. So these are the pliers I purchased at Harbor Freight on the parking lot sale. Starting from left to right, I got the hose pliers. Actually, I already have this set, but I lost the small one at the junkyard, which I found as an indispensable tool. So for $10 with 30% off, this is a deal for me just to replace that one, and I get the other two as bonus. This is a Pittsburgh flush cut. Never thought I'd own a flush cut, but for $2 or whatever, it's awesome. I've always wanted a Swedish pipe wrench. I like the Icon brand, so I just bought the smallest one they had that seemed might need it for working on a car maybe one day or some type of home repair. And then these end nippers, I've always kind of wanted these, but never had a use for them, so could not justify purchasing the Knipex version. But for a Pittsburgh set, 30% off, they're very cheap. So I said, you know what, I want to have this type of pliers in my arsenal, and for what it cost, I'm happy not to get the Knipex ones. So this is kind of just a quick update on just beefing up the pliers drawer, replacing some tools, getting a flush cut. I've never had a flush cut set of snippers before, so pretty excited about it. And as far as the hose pliers go, I've yet to come into a situation where I need a non-long one, where like a shorter one would get in somewhere. So I'm waiting for that scenario. Maybe when it happens, I will buy the Knipex ones, because I noticed they don't really have a long handle. They're pretty short handle. They have a slightly different design. But I'm thinking these are just going to work as they have so far. Just stick with these Pittsburgh hose pliers. Pretty awesome. Highly recommend them to anybody that's working on cars, pulling hoses off. These just make all the difference. All right, got them open for closer inspection. These things are very handy, and the quality's not too bad. For a tool that you're barely going to use, seems like Pittsburgh can be reasonable. So here I threw an intermission of the tool dog going at it with his life-size training dog, I guess you could call it. So here in the rest of the video, after this minor tool haul, I'm going to veer off into a subject that might be boring to some, but I feel it is a very important subject here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some 1/4-inch ratchets that basically track the price of 1 troy ounce of silver. And it's arranged in a graph that's supposed to represent time and price. So when I first started off buying ratchets, silver was approximately, I don't know, 15 bucks. That's what these ratchets here I'm showing. Started off with the Tectons. You know, they're very good tools, inexpensive, and they're not designed to be the fanciest ratchets. They're more like, hey, you need a bunch of tools, here's some reasonable, cheap ratchets, go for it. But as I started buying better ratchets, these Kokins were getting into the $30, $35 range at the time. Maybe this one's $40, you know, so these are some 35, and that's kind of where the price of silver was at the time. And just recently I got this Icon flex head G2 ratchet for $54.99, and just so happened the price of silver hit $54 per troy ounce today. So this is a ratchet you could buy with a troy ounce of silver. And what these Kokin and Nipros represent over to the right of that is $70, $90, $110 ratchets that I feel one day you'll be able to purchase with 1 troy ounce of silver. I found the Kokins aren't as easy to get anymore with the tariffs. So when you see a good deal on Amazon or eBay and you snap it up, you end up paying extra tariffs. But I think the silver will end up paying those as well. So here's 1 ounce of silver that will get you a G2 1/4-inch flex head ratchet locking head. And also just so happens I found this quarter the other day actually represents $8.50 or almost $9 of silver, which is just insane that a quarter from 1960 is worth $9 today. Back to the dog. He's pretty entertaining. I think for the most part he's a real good dog, and he's always on a high alert, looking out for danger, but loves to play. So he's a good addition to the garage and helps me sort through my tools. Very, very full of energy. Loves going at his stuffed animal thing here. All different kinds of ways. So I found it pretty entertaining, and I figure I could end the video with him roughing up his play toy a little here. And he's a real fun dog to play with. He likes to play tug of war, and he's been a real good dog lately. Anyway, that's all I got for this video, and we'll check in later.